Hey guys, Equinox here. Been a long time. Um, Season 1 starts in 3 days. I will be back to streaming. The schedule is going to be pretty tight. The first week will be very low YouTube content because I will be busy. After the first week, I will have like 3 or 4 videos planned throughout the week that are released during my stream days, and then over the weekend I will be crafting them. But the purpose of this video is an update, and I also want to update you guys on the brew builds, what you should be crafting week 1, what you're looking to craft, and what's looking good in general. The guide will reflect that. I'll probably do a little bit of adjusting after this. But yeah, let's kind of get into it. So week 1, very much raid focused. If you are not raiding, then this is kind of unimportant to you. Then we'll get into week 2 with M+. So week 1 raid focus. Depending on how your guild is set up, you're going to want to do your M0s, and then you're going to want to do your bountiful coffer keys, and then you're going to want to spend, before raid, you want to spend all your carved crests, except maybe you want to save some for normal gear. I mean, you'll have an abundance, something you'll have like over 400 easily, depending on how many you spent last week. And then you want to spend the rest of your weathered crest before raid on gear that you still need upgraded, or craft some gear if you want. Make sure you're all prepared for raid. Now, first tier and catalyst, we want to just rush 2 sets. So if you're going to get AOTC week 1, then you automatically get 2 set. If you get a piece of gear from raid, like a tier piece, instantly go buy 2 set with the catalyst item. So yeah, always just want to rip the catalyst and get it as soon as you can on a high eye level piece. Ideally, it's just like an off piece from normal raid or heroic raid. You don't want to use it on like an M0 piece because it doesn't go very high. These only go to like 600 something, 606-ish. So yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you have your embellishments. So right now, I'm going to change this in the guide. The symbiosis embellishment was heavily nerfed. I think it's like 292 a stack with the doubling. And the doubling is the Nerubian embellishment. So if you're focused on raid, you're fully raid progging for a while, you don't really care too much about M+, which is going to be a lot of people, you're going to go with double elemental focusing lens. For me, that ended up simming the best. Ascension's like okay, like Dark Sigil Ascension's like okay. Adrenal Surge Clasp is also okay, but ended up feeling like less DPS to me, and also kind of just harder to craft because it like takes up a belt slot and it scales the eye level like pretty hard. And it's also a raid embellishment, so you won't actually have it the day of raid. Unless you're like a Wednesday raider, then you might have it, someone in your realm might have it. But yeah, double elemental focusing lens is what I recommend. And then if it ends up coming out simming better, then we will use our mythic craft on the mythic week for the Adrenal Surge Clasp, which is the belt, and then we'll get into Ruby and Embellishment enchant. So it'll be easy to switch because your first craft on heroic week will most likely be either a weapon or like pretty much any piece that gives you the embellishment. Weapon's kind of hard because weapon, it is good like to have a 619 weapon, but it kind of depends what like gear you're gonna get, and we want to craft a mythic weapon on week 2. So week 2, almost guaranteed we're going to craft a mythic weapon just because it's 636. Now the exception is if you are doing mythic reclear or mythic clear week 1. If you are a mythic raider and you're going to be clearing the first 3 bosses almost guaranteed, you should wait until you get the 3rd boss down, or even the 4th boss if you guys are doing this early and you have a pretty good chance clearing this. The reason being is there's 3 weapon chances and one's a 2-hander. So any one of these you would rather get than crafting a weapon. You could also craft another offhand, but not really necessary. So what I would do is I wait till on Mythic Week to kill these bosses, unless you're just not going to get loot. But since there's a 2-handed polearm, there's a high chance you get this as a brew, very high chance. So I would wait to see what this gives you. And if this gives you this, then you can just put it on, upgrade it to 639, and you'll have a 639 weapon for a little while. And then you can always craft, and then you can upgrade your one-handed weapon from Vault if you get it, or you can upgrade like a one-handed weapon from here if you get it to 639. You can upgrade a better weapon. You can upgrade pretty much anything to 639. So, yeah, I think that's the play. But if you aren't mythic rating, just craft weapon. 636 one-hander, craft the weapon, get all your aspect crest, spend them, and get a high level weapon. Put your embellishment on it for the eye level increase. So you put an elemental focusing lens, and then use your heroic weak craft as like on. You could do it on gloves ideally. Like gloves is probably your best bet, since the only good gloves from raid are these. So these are like okay, and then crafting gloves, like you're not gonna like lose too much. So, double elemental focusing lens. First week craft is probably gonna be gloves. Or weapon, whichever one you want. You can get like a 619 eye level weapon if you don't think you're going to get anything from raid, or you just aren't raiding in general. I have not decided what I'm going to craft week 1 yet. It'll be weapon or glove, either one. And then week 2 craft, mythic week craft, it'll be weapon if you are not a mythic raider, or weapon if you are a mythic raider and don't loot any of the weapons. And then if you do loot one of these weapons, you want to craft... if you loot a one-hander from mythic, then you can go ahead and craft a weapon anyway, and then you'll have 2 high level weapons, and then you'll eventually craft or upgrade this to 639. If you get the two-hander, then you probably just craft an off slot, maybe boots, maybe cloak, maybe neck, maybe bracer, something like that, just some upgrade if you end up using the two-hander. And then eventually when you get another 639 one-hander, you will move over to dual wield, and you'll get rid of the two-hander, and you'll free upgrade the one-hander and craft the other one-hander. So that's what I recommend. And then after that, it's kind of just whatever fills in your slot. I'll have the breakdown in the guide, you guys will all see it. Now, build for raid. This is the build I will be running for raid, almost guaranteed. I might switch out for Ox stance on some fights just to make a little bit of a min-max. So we also tested the Ox build right here, which is just like all the Ox stuff. Not much of a difference. It ends up being pretty low amounts of your damage. You will not move into Scalding Brew until you get 4-set, most likely. Once you get 4-set, you will probably move into Scalding Brew. If that changes, I will update the guide and I'll let you guys know. We are not running Rushing Jade Wind. I was just testing that to see if it's like good enough. We are not running Rushing Jade Wind. We're running Special Delivery. It's slightly more damage. The damage difference is very minimal, so whichever one you prefer. If you like Rushing Jade Wind, play Rushing Jade Wind. You can also remove one with the Wind for August Blessing if you want. Doesn't matter. So this is for Raid Week 1. For M Plus Week 1, the build will be slightly different because M Plus is slightly different. So the only change you're going to make for M Plus Week 1, assuming you do not have tier set, is this. If you do not have tier set, this is the build you will be running. If you do have tier set, you will be running this. This will be your build week 1 for max. This is the best, like, min-max. If you do not want to play with Scalding Brew, you just do not like it, not a fan of it, you are completely fine to run this. The damage difference is not massive, while it is a bit behind in high M+. Oh, sorry, let me fix that. There you go. While this is a bit behind the Scalding Brew build in high M+, it's still very good. So, highly recommend this build for all of these. These are all linked in the guide, so don't worry too much about it. Yeah. This is pretty much the build you're going to be working with. This is basically special delivery focused, and a little advice I have is when you guys are learning this is really just get in the habit of hitting your brews a lot, hitting a lot of brew, hitting Celestial Brew off cooldown, Black Ox Brew off cooldown, Chi Burst off cooldown. Like, really get in the habit of using things on cooldown constantly. Now, for potions and stuff, this is all in the guide, but we're just going to go over it. Tempered Potion, and then Flask, you're going to do Versatility Flask, Enchant, 2x Authority of Radiant Power. If you have a two-hander, 1x Authority of Radiant Power, Verse Enchants, Verse Crit Gems. You might do some Crit Verse Gems at the early on just to get a lot of crit, because crit's really good. Trinkets early on, you want to get Arakara Sack Brewed for the raid, and then your next trinket will either be... Sorry, I have to set to Windwalker. You can either get this, you can get this if you want a stat stick, you can get this trinket. This trinket sims pretty well. Don't know if it's over-simming, but it's pretty good. Remnant's pretty meh. Harvester's Edict's fine, it's a really good stat stick, does decent damage. This trinket actually does an insane amount of single target, it just has no main stat, so might not be the best, but it's a really good passive trinket. The only thing about this trinket is make sure it's always on the crit side. So it'll have 2 icons. It'll have like a little shield or ward icon, and then it'll have a double swords icon. Always want it on the double swords. You could run Signet of the Priory. This is good if you have verse highest. If you do not have verse highest, this isn't good because you don't need a shit ton of crit. Cinder Brewstein was bugged for a bit, but now it's broken. And yeah, that's pretty much it for trinkets. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you really need to do to prepare. If you have any questions, ask me in the Discord. I'll have a Discord invite below. I'll have the build links below. Everything will be in the guide as well. And yeah, have a fantastic day, guys. Good luck in Season 1. I'm going to be putting out a lot of raid content this season too, so kill videos. If you want any specific raid advice, let me know. I'll post logs. I'll go over logs. I'll go over boss positioning. Anything you guys want, just let me know. Have a fantastic day, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We are going to be back streaming on the 10th. And yeah, have a fantastic day.